We're going to release the sterno-cleido-mastoid muscle, which is a main cause of headaches for a lot of people. So really beneficial to know about this muscle, where it lives, and how to release the tension in this muscle. The sterno-cleido-mastoid is the most superficial of all the neck muscles, and it turns the head to the opposite side. So you can see my right one kind of pops out here as I turn my head to the left. This muscle gets really overstressed and locked down with tension on long drives when you're kind of like this and the head is coming forward. I find straining to look at a computer or leaning forward, ducking down to be on a laptop will also cause a lot of strain in sterno-cleido-mastoid. So if you're spending a lot of time on your computer and getting headaches, then this is a great practice for you to do for yourself. To begin, you want to just kind of turn your head side to side and see on either direction, do you feel any pulling? So my right side feels a little tighter because as I turn to the right, which would stretch that muscle, I feel it pull a little bit back at the mastoid process. So I'm going to see if that'll get better after I do this practice. I'm going to use my opposite hand, and it's again that most superficial muscle. And I like to just soften my right ear toward my right shoulder when I'm working on the right side. I like to use my left hand because I want to let my right side be as relaxed as possible. And this can also be done laying on the floor. That's a great way to do it. But just in the beginning, just kind of seeing if you can find the muscle itself. It might be easy to find what's called the sternal notch right in the center. And then if you just come up along the collarbone, you feel that there's a little rope right there. And that's the bottom of the sterno-cleido-mastoid. And it's really the only thing that you can grab. And you can do a big grab on this muscle and without hurting anything. So you want to make sure that your ear is softened toward your shoulder and that you're not turning away. You can see that mine will, if I turn away to try to make more space, it tightens up. So I want to try to keep it as soft as possible. Even my chin maybe slightly down toward my chest. Let me use my opposite hand, and I'm just going to find that sternal notch and find the beginning of it. And I can feel that I'm just grabbing and gently kind of wiggling the sterno-cleido-mastoid so I can find it all the way up to the top. It gets thick where the two layers of the two heads of the muscle come together at the top. And as I kind of follow along and wiggle, I find that for me, there's a little more tension right in the center. So as I explore and release the edges of the muscle, I start finding that, oh yeah, right around here is kind of a tender place for me in my sterno-cleido-mastoid. So I'm going to make sure that I'm breathing, softening my ear toward my shoulder, relaxing my body, and I'm going to squeeze in the rope itself, that rope of that muscle. I don't want to go too far around the rope. I want to be kind of right in the muscle itself. And I'm going to squeeze that and find a tender spot and take a breath. And I'm going to walk down a little further along the muscle. Oh yeah, I feel it right there. Tender spot. And I just kind of wiggle it a little, and then I squeeze gently and hold and take a breath. And I continue walking down toward the sternum. I'm not going straight down like this. See how I'm going at a diagonal toward the front of my body between the corner of my ear to the sternum. So I go down a little further. Ooh, that's a tender spot right in there. And I kind of wiggle it and squeeze it, and as I squeeze in and hold the pressure, and I just find stillness and take a deep breath. And really you can just spend 1, maybe 2 breaths on the points. I find that if I hold too long, I'm just sore the next day. Or the muscle I might be able to force it to release, but then it's gonna come back with a vengeance and bring some new trigger point friends with it. So I'm gonna find maybe 1 more spot. There's a little tenderness there, not too much. I'm gonna take a nice breath. And I'm just gonna kind of stroke along it, give a little massage. And then I'm gonna bring my head back to center. Then I'm gonna turn my head side to side. And now I feel, when I turn to the right, I don't feel that pull at the base of my skull anymore, behind my ear. And my range of motion is much further to the right now than it was to the left. Now I can look almost over my shoulder, and this side, now I'm starting to feel it on the left side. So I want to go back and do the left side. I'll soften my left ear toward my left shoulder. I'm going to use my right hand. And I'm going to find that sternal notch first, that place in the center. And I make sure that my chin is soft and not looking up so that the muscle is not tensing. And I soften, and then I just kind of find that bottom edge of that rope. And I might walk up that muscle diagonally toward the back of my ear. You may find it helpful to look in a mirror as you're first working with this muscle so that you can see what you're doing. So it would be helpful to maybe do this in the bathroom in front of the mirror or something where you can see the muscle itself so that you wouldn't be behind it and you don't want to grab your trachea. You just want to grab that muscle here, and then you'll just work methodically along that line from the back of the ear and finding tender spots in the ropes and then squeezing the rope itself and not around the edges of the rope. And then when you're done, turning. And even just that little bit of attention on my sterno-cleido-mastoid on my left side, now I have no pull at the back of my, behind my ear, that upper attachment. So that's releasing the sterno-cleido-mastoid, really helpful for headaches, limited range of motion, turning your head side to side. And if you're having trouble with holding your head forward.